Now, we're live. Yes, live from Jay's place. And we're talking
Barbershop Talk.
Yes, barbershop talk, where nothing is off limits and everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table. Barbershop Talk.
Come on, everybody. We're here at Jay's place.
Barbershop.
We're talking
Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk.
where nothing's off limits.
Barbershop Talk.
Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk.
Everything's on the table.
Barbershop Talk.
Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk. Barbershop Talk.
Everything's on the table.
Shop 1927 Olive Road. I'm glad you tuned in. I'm happy you tuned in. I'm excited that you tuned in. Listen, this is not a special edition. This is a crazy edition of Barbershop Talk Live. So again, tell your friend, tell your coworkers, tell your neighbors, even get them enemies on the line to tune in to Barbershop Talk Live. It's going to be a crazy conversation tonight. I believe it. Do you believe it? Thank you for tuning in. Listen, before we get started, as we always do, I want to make sure that you are in tune to what's going on tonight. Tonight is a special edition of Barbershop Talk Live. What that means is I got some guys in my media right, and they want to let you know what they're talking about and why you should vote for them at the next coming election. So again, we're gonna talk to them in a few minutes, but for now, I want you to get on your phone, get on your iPad, get your tape recorders, get your pen and paper ready, get your questions ready. You got a question for our special guest? Give us a call at 706-426-1533. That's 706-426-1533. As they said before, any question you want to ask, no questions off limits. Ask all questions. Listen, I want to give a special shout out to the people that behind the scene make this thing possible. There's some people behind the scene that make this thing possible. So what I'm going to do, before I call out those people's names, I want to make sure you are here and listening. Beverly's Body Butter. Beverly's Body Butter. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Demetrius Johnson, for tuning in, supporting Barbershop Talk Live. She has a product called Whip Senate Shea Butter right here in Augusta, Georgia. Give her a call and get in contact with all the products that she has. 706-564-5335. That's 706-564-5335. A Whip Senate Shea Butter. Hit her up on TikTok, Melon Queen 1976. Also, my good friend Alan Odom. Everybody knows Alan right here in Augusta, Georgia. A company called Pond Maintenance. Give a special shout out to him. Demolition, tree removal, cut your grass, and maintain your pond. So give him a call also at 706-294-8493. Alan Odom, 706-294-8493. Listen, don't forget about May the 25th. May the 25th, right here in Augusta, Georgia, the Augusta Common. My good friend J.R. Rouse is doing his annual out-of-school block party. Kids out-of-school block party. It's going to be a crazy addition, crazy thing to what he's been doing all these many years. So, again, go down to Augusta Common, May the 25th. I'm telling you, it's going to be from 2 to 6, I believe that's the time, if I'm not mistaken. Have a good time. Free food for the kids, all kind of little games. Also, giving away scholarships. Scholarships, I'm not mistaken, scholarships. So, again, scholarships. Listen, tablets, bicycles, you know how J.R. Rouse do. So get up, get out, and go down. Have a good time. Bring their family, bring their kids. Live music, live entertainment. J.R. Rouse always doing it for the kids. Out of school block party. Augusta coming May the 25th. That's just a Saturday. I'm looking forward to seeing you, and he's looking forward to see you too. So get down and have a good time. Listen, again, let's have a good time. But before we get into this conversation, you ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. You ready? Listen, if you don't know who these guys are, sorry, shame on you. If you haven't seen these guys, sorry, shame on you. But I'm going to tell you who these guys are. Listen, to my immediate right, listen, we almost we in the same color. To my immediate right, listen, a good friend, been knowing him for a while, been seeing him for a while, been all over the CSOA doing this thing, been in this position before. He want to get back in this position again. I call him Matt. You going to call him Matt Aitken. What's up, Matt? We good? We all good. All right. Now listen, y'all know this guy to my other media, right? You seen him before on WJBF, Channel 12. You seen him at the ballpark. You seen him at the gym. You seen him everywhere. At the red light fussing with this crossing guard. You seen him. You seen him, I seen him. But listen, if you haven't seen him, I'm going to let you know who he is. My good friend to my immediate right, Mr. Jordan Johnson. What's going on, man? You good? Good to see you, baby. Good to see you. Listen, again, a special edition of Barbershop Talk Live. We are always live, and no question is off limits. You got a question, you got a comment, you got a concern, give us a call at 706-426-1533. Some people call it a debate. I call it a conversation. Some people say they're going to talk about each other. We're just going to have a conversation. Some people going to say what he didn't do. We're going to have a conversation. Some people say they all know what they're talking about. We're just going to have a conversation. That's all right? All right, so listen, we're going to get the conversation started. So, again, call a friend, call your enemy, call them neighbors, get them in tune. Barbershop Talk Live, we are always live. Listen, in a few minutes, we got a special guest coming. He's already here, Bishop L.A. Green. Listen. Oh, so listen, now, man, let's start with you, because what we got going on here is a serious matter. And I know the people back home and the people on the other side of that camera watching, they want to know what's really going on with the CSRA, what's really going on with Augusta, Georgia. So I want to start with you. And the reason why I'm going to start with you, because you've been in this position before. You've been in this position for us on the commission chambers and been around the different offices, the different leaders of the city. So what I want to start with you is, tell me why. I'm sorry, don't even tell me, because I already know why. I want you to tell the Barbershop Talk Live world, why would you want to go back and get in this position again?
We got a lot done when I was on the commission. Well, first, let me say thank you for having me today. It's I love this. Is cool setting right here at the barbershop.
Okay.
We were talking a little bit about how all this was birthed, and that's kind of how my political career. I never had a desire to be in politics, but I felt like in 2010, District 1 wasn't really catching on all cylinders, and so I threw my name in the hat and wanted to bring some of the economic issues to the forefront. And lo and behold, I started gaining ground in that election and actually won in a runoff. So these years later, a lot of people have asked me, because we got a lot of things done when I was on the commission before. We got the T Center completed, the Judicial Center built, the Law Enforcement Administration Office done, and the Augusta Downtown Library. So all of these buildings we got completed when I was on just the 3 years that I was there. So I got experience in getting things done and moving in that way, and I think people have come to me and asked me would I consider running again. We had to talk. It wasn't really high on my radar at the time, but I was open to the idea, provided that they could talk to my wife and encourage her. So it took about a year of talking to her before we got to that place, and that she felt easy. Because we all know politics is not an easy thing to be into, and I think it's the conversation is very important. We need to have more conversation in the CSRA, and we don't have enough of those conversations to figure out solutions. So my hat's off to you for having that kind of platform. So I think that's kind of why that I'm doing what I do now. I got a lot to offer. I got a lot of experience to offer, and I think a lot of the stuff that I do in commercial real estate will add a lot to the district. As well as to the commission bench for discussion of things that need to happen in District 1.
Okay, all right.
You need to give me a time limit on how much we have.
Listen, the Barbershop Talk Live, again, the way Barbershop Talk Live works, anything can and will happen.
I don't hog your time.
No, we just have a conversation. We just have a conversation. If you want to get into this conversation, again, give us a call, 706-426-1533. No question is off limits. You got a question? If it's on your mind, let's talk about it. Oh, we got a question from the floor? Okay. Also, let me go to Jordan. Now, Jordan, again, for the ones that don't really know who you are, and they do know who you are, just give us a quick summary of who you are.
So I'm Jordan Johnson. I was born and raised here in Augusta. I lived in East Augusta, Dogwood Terrace. Left there, went out to Hepzibah. But I've been working in Augusta since before I could even vote. Working on campaigns, working on issues, working to help pave potholes in my community, things like that. And I decided to run for office when I was 25 years old because I didn't see the change happening. There had been progress made, but in the areas where it really mattered, I didn't see that. And I wanted to make sure that that District 1 had a representative that would be on the ground, that would be talking to people, that will understand the needs of the people, and that would put pen to paper to try to solve some of the problems that these communities are dealing with. And so I've been extremely passionate about this job because I don't take it lightly. I've been working to help people who have been living in poverty. I work with people living in great wealth. I work with folks who don't even live in this district, because District 1 is just that unique. And so I'm sure throughout this conversation, we're going to get a little bit more deeper into some of those topics. But, you know, you say, who am I? I'm just somebody who loves Augusta, who was born and raised here, who has no intentions on leaving, and who really want to leave in Augusta for his kids and his generation after him, a better Augusta, a better place than what we found it.
John, I got to say this because
Okay.
I'll be in trouble. I'll be in doghouse if I don't identify my wife. I've been married about 19 years to Melissa, and I got a daughter, Cecilia. When I ran last time, she was 3 years old, and now she's graduating from high school on Saturday morning, and she'll be going to the University of Alabama. So we'll be empty nesters, and I call her short timer for that. So thank you for letting me. She gets on to me when I don't mention her.
Well,
Talk about that bench in the back room,
yeah,
right?
That's right. I'll be in
and,
it.
and you know, don't worry about that, Matt, because again, we knew, you know, all the time that you spent with your wife and your daughter. We kind of do our own research here at Jay's Place Barbershop Talk Live, so you didn't know, but we already got her coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, Gerald, sound man, if you want to open the door, let his wife come in. I don't have no problem with that. But you know, yeah, you can get it now. Bring on in now. We come on in. So just give
Bishop
us.
Greenbringer.
No, well, she's already here. She's coming.
Yeah.
So she'll be in just a few minutes. No, we just mess with you. Barbershop Talk
know
Live
you
as
are.
always. Listen, also again, I want to make sure that everybody understand what's going on. And this is a crazy race that we have here. This is a race that how many candidates is in this race?
4.
There's 4 candidates in the race.
4 total.
4 total. Okay. All right. So what I
There
want
was 5 and 1 dropped out.
It was 5. Okay. So what I see now, I see that we actually have a room full of people that's coming in to make sure they get their voice heard and get their opinions put out there. So I want to give everybody a chance to to say what they want to say about this particular race, because as you know, this is a hard race. This is an undecided race, and even for the ones that's already voted, they still want to make sure that even what you all are saying, they made the right decision on what they did vote on. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep, that's right.
All right. So Matt, we got a question from the floor.
It said to Matt, for you, what can you bring different in District 1 that Mr. Johnson has?
There's probably several things that I can, and I think the commercial real estate experience, I think, like I mentioned a minute ago, is second to none as far as the development side of it, because I work with developers, and I work with banks and lawyers and all those types of things, and I think District 1 is the hub, not only of the city of Augusta, but it's also really a crown jewel in this region, and I think we need to really start looking at that. How do we develop things? How do we start having those kinds of conversations that will bring to that? And I think, too, there's no one really talking about the expansion of the convention center. When it was built, I took a lot of heat for it when I was elected to get it built, and it had been stalled for years about being built. And when I took my seat, they had a special call meeting to get it going, which so I kind of did what I had set out to do in my campaign to get that going. So I think we need to go ahead and do that now, because the convention center is an economic generator. And I think if you look at other cities, we want our city to be competitive for economics. And people think I talk too high on some of the things, but I think the economics and the income that this venue generates, it affects all of us. It affects all of our businesses, and it affects our future. So I think now we've outgrown this center, and we don't want to lose other contracts that we have with people coming here. So the development side of adding the 50,000 square feet to the convention center and the 300 additional parking spaces to the convention center are very key, that we can have even bigger venues here that impact our economy. So that will be some of the things, and I think figuring out what we need to do with this Parks and Recreation that is falling apart, those are the things that we really got figuring out, because those are generators too.
Now, Joy, let me jump on you when what he's saying about the T Center and all that type of stuff. And if that's the case, where you want to add the square footage and the parking space to that event, where would that money come from? Would it come from the taxpayers to fund that, or of some kind of splash or whatever?
Yeah, the taxpayers are going to have to fund it. It's going to have to come out of SPLOST and another lot of different pools of money. He mentioned that he caught flack for it the first time. Well, that's because the way that it was created the last time was pretty much not really conducive to how taxpayers wanted to spend their monies. You may remember some of the SPLOST packages before, how controversial they were. I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that I don't support expanding the T-Center, but that's just one thing. You know, when you look at District 1 in downtown Augusta right now, in 2023 alone, we had almost 35, 36 new businesses come to downtown Augusta. We had almost $90 million worth of economic investment, private and public. The year before that, about 50 plus and around $70 million. And a lot of the new businesses that we've been opening in downtown Augusta, and I say we because I sit on the board of directors for the Downtown Development Authority. When a business comes to town, they want to sit and meet with their commissioner. Last time I was here, you talked about the weight gain. Well, that's because I go and sit over at Augustino's for breakfast with some of these folks. We're talking about the Curtis Baptist School, the Lamar Building, the Marion Building. A lot of these new developments that you've seen in downtown Augusta that I've sat at the table, I've helped craft, I've helped apply for loans. Just today at a Downtown Development Authority meeting, we talked about helping 3 businesses apply for small business loans through the state. These businesses are majority minority businesses. And so to paint the picture that there isn't any development or commercial real estate isn't thriving, it's just not exactly true. The fact of the matter is downtown Augusta is the hottest that it has been in a very long time. Back in 2010 and 2011, 2012, when I was going through high school and shortly after, you couldn't say that about downtown Augusta. But you come downtown right now and there's not a shortage of things to do. And that's not all because of the government, but certainly public-private partnerships between the government and private entities is what makes things move forward in the city of Augusta. And I'm proud of the progress that we've made in downtown Augusta.
Okay, now this is, in my opinion, is a good conversation. And remember, we're having a conversation, and I want to make sure I don't forget any of these questions we're gonna have in these conversations. So, man, you mind if I refer back to my notes? I'm just gonna refer back to my notes.
That's important.
Yeah,
I don't want to. Facts, and that's
right.
What
So these are my notes that I jotted down, and some of the questions also. So I want to make sure you see what I'm about to ask you.
That's right.
So I want to say the wrong thing and be out of place. This is my question list, and I want to make sure these questions came from the floor and from the audience that's here. So I'm gonna go straight to question 1. This is question 1 that everybody's been harping on, everybody been talking about, everybody been in a disagreement about. So question 1 comes to you first. Are you in favor of the mayor having a vote?
As a citizen, I'm going to vote for it, yes.
Okay. And now you can't just say yes without explaining that.
I think if you look at what's going on with the commission, and I think a lot of citizens feel like we're not having progress. With the extension of votes, the lack of progress in that, to control it, I think it gives the mayor and it gives the citizens, they want to see progress. And I think with that going on right now, you're not seeing the progress that the citizens want to see, me included. So I'm going to vote for it and support it. And I think, too, to go a step further, I think the charter needs to be evaluated and massaged. So I think there's a will within this city really to challenge the charter now and maybe craft it in a way that's going to be conducive to what we need now as a city.
Okay. All right. Jordan, the same number 1 question comes to you. Are you in favor of the mayor? Okay, we got a question. We got a phone call. Caller, are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? What's your name and what's your comment? Okay.
Instead of the commissioners talking about cleaning up District 1, we need to actually be able to pull together to get District 1 back to what it used to be.
Can you repeat the question again, caller? How do you clean District 1? That was your question? How do you clean District 1?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Jordan, let's start with you since you're already in that position. Oh, would that question directly to anyone? Anyone in the
question is for Jordan Johnson.
Okay.
Hey, Dante, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
All right.
So the answer to your question is the way that you clean District 1, the way that we've been doing it is you add dollars into places where it actually matters. Prime example to that is yesterday at the commission meeting, we had a long, drawn-out conversation with the engineering department about how to add more money to the budget, to tear down more dilapidated houses, to cut right-of-ways, and to cut vacant lots. The fact of the matter is, District 1's cutting schedule is on what they refer to as a reactive schedule, which means our grass, right-of-ways, and vacant lots doesn't get cut unless you call. But there are other areas in town which are on what they call a proactive schedule. And they literally said this from the commission floor, which I think that's unfair. Another thing that we need to be doing is continuing to give money to the marshal's office to do their cleanups. And we need to break up some of these contracts in the engineering department to be able to spread out who's doing the grass cutting. You'll be surprised to know that there's only like 1 or 2 groups cutting grass throughout the entire city. And you wonder why the grass don't get cut. We added extra dollars into the marshal's office to budget last budget cycle. I have the pleasure of being the finance chair. I fought very hard for that. And the marshal was going to increase his cleanup schedule from once to 2 or 3 times a week, 2 or 3 times a month. And the budget was cut. And because the budget was cut, the cleanup didn't happen. But what did I do instead? I'm out there with lawnmowers cutting grass out in Sunset Park. I'm picking up trash downtown. I'm in East Augusta doing it. So the way that you do it is you add the dollars into programs that can help you move Augusta into the right direction. You can't do it by cutting the budget. You can't do it by keeping contracts in one company. You have to fund what you expect to happen, and that has not been happening. So I think that's the first thing that you have to start doing. You have to start giving money to the departments to make things happen.
Okay. Caller, did you get your question answered?
Okay, my second question is this right here.
Okay.
Why are we giving money to the sheriff's office and not putting money where it should be going?
Why are you getting money to the sheriff department and not where it should be going?
Because basically what I'm asking is this. Why are we getting outside contractors and we have contractors right here in Richmond County? Instead of going out and getting contractors, we rather bring contractors in. And that's not making any sense.
Those contractors, Dante, they're all from Richmond County. Those are Richmond County contractors. The folks cutting our grass and picking up our trash are not outside of Augusta, Richmond County. They're all local. And then when we have an additional need, we tap into our inmate labor out at RCCI. So that's just the facts on that one, brother.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but
okay.
But my question is still not answered. Why are we giving outside people contracts, and we got people right here in Augusta that can do the same thing for a cheaper price?
Okay, so what contract are you referring to? You referring to the grass cutting?
The contract that I'm talking about is actually opening up businesses and stuff.
So we created in 2022 or 2023, Dante, a disparity study. And that disparity study was implemented to show us the disparities between who's getting contracts in Augusta and who's not getting contracts in Augusta. And what we saw was that a majority of the contracts were going to the same 3 or 4 businesses, whereas you have people like the Blair Brothers and other companies who cut grass, who do sheetrock, who do handiwork, who can get these contracts, but they didn't meet qualifications because of how our codes were met. We passed that, we created the plan, and now we're in the implementation stages of that plan so that we can do exactly what you're talking about. If there are local people here in Richmond County, they get local preference. It's called a preference program, but the commission has not taken a vote on that yet. It is forthcoming. We're working with our procurement department and our I forgot the name of the department right there, but it's our EEOC department. We're working with them to make sure that the program is actually legal and that it can be implemented, but that work is happening right now.
I think, too, if you look at the maintenance of our city, it seems like everybody don't know who's doing what. And I think somewhere, and I'm going to revert back to the administrator. Administrators should be handling this or should understand all of this going on with this grass cutting. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing when we can't figure out and how to do what we need to do. So I think those kinds of things, that let the administrator do that, report back to the commission, because I think sometimes we get in the weeds when we should be delegating things as commissioners and having that administrator report back to us on who's cutting what, how often is it cut, and giving us, and that's what, if I'm elected, we're going to figure that out pretty quick so we understand that. And I know the mayor's supportive of cleaning up our city, so I know that he's going to be supportive of what needs to be done as far as keeping Augusta cleaner.
Okay. All right. Well, let me go back to we got another question from the floor. Another caller. Quick caller. Were you there, caller?
No, it's Dante.
Oh, that's Dante. You still Dante, I appreciate you for your call and appreciate you keep watching Barbershop Talk Live. And I think we got to pay
All
a
right.
bill. We got to pay a bill. We got to, okay, caller, are you there, caller? Are you there, caller? Keep calling back. Caller, want to make sure we get all your questions, all your comments, and all your concerns in. Again, give us a call at 706-426-1533. That's 706-426-1533. Caller, keep calling. We're going to make sure we get your call in and get your question answered. So, okay, are you there, caller?
Keep calling. We're going to make sure we get your call in and get your question answered.
Turn your radio down just a little bit for me, caller.
Hello.
Yes. What's your comment and what's your name?
Hello.
Yes, can you turn your radio down just a little bit and what's your comment and what's your name? Call you there?
Yes, my name is Ellis Wright, and I just heard a couple of things that I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask.
Okay.
Number one, I live in District 1, was living in District 1 when Commissioner Aitken was in District 1. And what he mentioned about the T Center and all that did nothing to help the residents of District 1. No potholes, no lights was fixed, no streets were paved, none of that. We're talking about everybody in District 1 and not just the economic part. The second thing is, he talked about ads and he talked about the mayor's vote. The bottom line is, what does those extensions causing not to be done? I watch the meetings every week. I've only saw 2 extensions about 2 issues, but what is not being done according to him as he's running on? About 2 issues.
That's directed to Matt. Can you turn your radio down just a little bit, ma'am? Sir?
That's correct.
Okay, okay. Okay, man.
I'm a sir.
Okay, I think that question to you.
I think the biggest concern right now is getting the administrator hired, and I mean,
I put them in the comments as well, but since y'all said call.
Okay, you can still, definitely keep calling in with us. And okay, Matt, that's a question to Matt.
Hey, ma'am, can you do me a favor? Can you cut your TV or your phone down in the background?
Definitely keep giving us a call at 706-426-1533. We want to make sure we get all your questions, all your comments in. Okay. That last call-up question was for Matt. Oh, that's.
It's a.
Okay.
Sir.
That question was for Mr. Aitken.
I think the biggest thing is the abstention for getting the administrator hired, because the administrator is such an important job for this city. And I think when you're trying to get one, it's been an interim for several years now, and I think getting that process, and that's some of the things that we need to get figured out, is streamlining things, whether it's the administrator, zoning and re-permitting, those types of things. And all of these things are very important for people in District 1 throughout the city, because when you have as Commissioner Johnson mentioned, when you got to start raising the budgets and doing things that add money to these budgets, where's that money going to come from? It's going to come from economics, and I think that's the thing that's really going to float all boats. It's going to float the businesses, it's going to float the community, it's going to float the residents, and I think we got to come to that point and say, hey, we got to start streamlining some of these things to make it efficient for people to do business with our city and not hinder, and I hear that over and over in my line of work in the real estate side of it.
Okay, thank you, caller, for your question and for your comments. Keep calling Barbershop Talk Live again. That's 706.
And can I say this?
Yes.
And we're not going to be long this.
Okay.
The mayor had the opportunity to select the administrator, and he did. So let's be fair with the people, and let's talk the truth and stop saying stuff that is not true.
Okay. Thank you, caller, for your comment, and continue to watch Barbershop Talk Live again. So Jordan, I'm going to come back to you. What do we? I think it's about time for our commercial break. Thank you, ma'am. It's time for the commercial break. Let's do this commercial break. We got to pay this bill. Seriously, Barbershop Talk Live world. Thank you for tuning in, but we're gonna do a quick pay this bill. We got to pay a bill. So what I want you to do, I want you to pay attention to the screen. We got a candidate that's running for sheriff here in Richmond County, Mr. Gino Brantley the Rock. So I want to watch this quick commercial, see what he had to talk about, and you make a decision from that. We'll be back in a few minutes. Again, that's Gino The Rock Brantley. We'll be back in a few minutes. Keep calling. Barbershop Talk Live. We're live back at Jay's Place Barbershop, 1927 Olive Road. Again, we had to pay that bill. A good friend, Gino The Rock Brantley, is running for sheriff in Richmond County. So again, I hope you paid attention to what he had to say, what he had to offer. So again, don't want to tell you who to vote for. Make your mind and make your decision. But please, man, please, sir, do go and vote. Back to the conversation we had with Matt Aitken and also Mr. Jordan Johnson. Before we got to go to our commercial break, I want to make sure that you got your question answered. And I asked you the right question. I asked you a question earlier. Are you in favor of the mayor's vote, Mr. Johnson?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
And it's not personal towards the mayor or anyone else. I just don't think that that's the change that we need right now. The larger change that we need is a charter change. I think we need a true executive branch of the government. As of right now, we have a legislative branch and a judicial branch. There is no executive branch. I believe that the mayor should have executive authority as the CEO of the city, and that should include having department heads and the administrator work through him in a way, and then have the commission serve as a checks and balances type of board that approves what the administrator and the mayor wants to do. Folks keep saying that abstaining votes is the issue here. Well, why didn't we go after the abstaining vote? Why didn't mayor ask for the abstaining vote rule to be removed? Well, they know that they couldn't because the Supreme Court already ruled that an abstaining vote is a parliamentary procedure that can be used in the case of a conflict of interest, not enough information, or unreadiness when it's time to vote. And folks are saying that abstaining votes get in the way of progress. Since I've been on the commission, well, let's not even go that far back. Let's go back to 2023 since the mayor's been in office. There's only been 2 topics where there have been abstaining votes. 2. And so out of hundreds of votes, only 2 topics have seen abstentions. One was gold crossed, one was the city administrator's vote. The mayor says that they told him he would never have a vote. That's not true because he voted during the gold cross votes. And during the city administrator vote, we paid almost $40,000 for a search firm to tell us who our best candidate should be for the administrator position. They came back with Takia Dowse, our current interim administrator, because she scored the highest on every assessment, the absolute highest that that organization had ever interviewed. She was not even brought up in the top 3. As a matter of fact, somebody who, during their interview, said that we should hire her was suggested over her. And so that process wasn't fair to the person who went through the process, who got the most votes on the search firm, and who has the most experience as a city administrator. So I don't agree that abstaining votes is the issue. I think that politics is the issue. And unfortunately, the city has a terrible desire to adopt bad politics versus just going through processes, being fair, being true, and getting things done for the city. I can point to you a number of things that has happened in this city that has pointed to progress that the city didn't abstain on. We didn't abstain on 430 plus blighted properties being removed, 400 plus affordable housing being open. We didn't abstain on a James Brown Arena resolution. We didn't abstain on candlelight series on the Commons. We didn't abstain on things in this city that made sense. We gave $150,000 for Riverwalk improvements. We're working right now to improve our Riverwalk. We didn't abstain on that. We're working to renovate our boathouse. We didn't abstain on that. Abstaining votes is not the issue. If abstaining votes were the issue, then the ask would have been to remove the abstention role. I think that what we really need is a true executive branch of this government. That is where processes and procedures move faster versus having to deal with 10 bosses. You can't deal with 10 bosses, but if you give the mayor a vote, you now have 11 bosses. So I don't think it makes much sense.
Okay, now, Mr. Aitken, let me ask you this question, and again, this is not my answer. I don't want to know. The barbershop talk live want to know. If you get into that position, what you're running from now, would you keep Ms. Dowse, or would you get her out of there and get the next person that considered to be qualified? What would you do?
I'd have to go back and look at the process and what it was designed to do as far as how it was supposed to be done. Because I know there was candidates there, and and I'd have to look at I hadn't looked at her resume. I hadn't looked at the resumes of the other candidates, and I think that that's important for us to do that in that process. So I'm on the outside looking in, just like the other citizens are.
But now, as you looking out, looking from the outside to the inside, just as I am, we see seems to be a good track record that she has. It seems like everything is running smoothly. It seems like the city is going the right direction financial-wise. So why not keep her, or why get rid of her, based on your opinion?
I don't
From what
say-
you can see now.
I don't say either one of those right now because I don't have all the facts in front of me. And to know her, I'm sure there's an evaluation process of just like the department directors, and that would have to be done in a way that would do that. And then two, understanding the process and how she wasn't one of the top 3, as the commissioner just talked about, that she was the highest candidate, and why she wasn't in the top 3, I don't know. And that's what I would have to research to understand. So before I could give an accurate answer on how to do the comments for that. Okay. So I think, and I think the personnel department, how we do job hiring and all of that, and doing sourcing outside, and then in our own department, it's trying to look at a lot of those things too. How do we evaluate and potential candidates for any of the jobs, whether it's administrator or department directors?
Okay, we got a question from the floor.
Bishop L.A. Green.
Okay, Mr. Green, how you doing, Mr. Green?
Good. First to Mr. Matt Aitken and then to Mr. Jordan. The policy and procedures for the mayor to go out and bring a candidate back for city administrator have not been changed since you've been commissioner. The policy and procedures for the mayor to go out and get 3 candidates for you guys to vote up or down have not changed since you've been commissioner. The mayor goes out, get 3 candidates, bring them back to the commission. The commission votes them up or down. None of the commissioners personally get in there and said, I want this person to be a candidate. And when politics gets into it, when any commission want their own personal city administrator in office, then it becomes a problem for all of us. Not only for the commission and the mayor, but it becomes a problem for the city. And that's why we are holed up right now. It's politics that's stopping this, because if any 6 commissioners vote on anything, it's done. And if the commissioners really think that Ms. Dowse was the #1 candidate with her resume, then I'm quite sure 2 or 3 commissioners can go to our mayor and sit down and have a reasonable conversation to put Ms. Dowse on the list. But if our mayor felt that her resume was not up to par and he's going to get candidates that he think can move this city forward as an administrator, why not just follow the rules and regulation, vote him up, vote him down? If you vote the first 3 down, he bring 3 more in, and you vote him up or vote him down. Don't hold the city hostage because you want a certain person in. So that goes to you. What would you do in this situation? Not abstaining.
I think that's exactly right. I think it's held the city hostage, and if they haven't been voted up or down,
Right.
and I don't know the process, but go to the next.
Yes.
Because I think that we need to keep moving our city forward in that sense of getting the qualified candidates that are there. And it's unfortunate we have to count votes, but that's what it is in Augusta. And so I think, and as I've said before, the administrator is such an important role.
Right.
It helps keep checks and balances. The deputy administrators help do that, as well as the administrator and the commission. So all of that should be like a well-oiled machine, and right now we're not seeing it flow on all 8 cylinders, and I think that that's what the citizens are concerned about, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Okay, Jordan.
Bishop, you know I respect you, but your facts are a little off, and I'll try to help get them back on track. What the process says is that the commission will set the standard for how the search happens. So regardless if that's an in-house search, a national-wide search, whatever, the commission sets that process. This time around, the commission agreed to do a Southeast search. Only the Southeast was interviewed. The next process, the next step of that process states that the commission would hire a firm, which we did. That firm interviewed all the candidates, and after that firm interviewed the candidates, they all came back to the commission for review. From that point, the commission narrowed down that whole list of people to 7 people, 7 candidates, to be interviewed by the commission. After the commission interviewed that second round, the commission recommended, I believe it was 5 or 6, to the mayor to choose his top 3. His top 3 are simply recommendations to the commission to hire. It is not who the mayor wants, because the commission makes the hires. That's not just for the administrator. That's for every position in this county. The commission makes the hires. So after we've thumbed through all of those, the commission chose 3 candidates. The commission chose our top, with Takia Dowse being the top, because she had the most experience. She has a banking background when she was vice president of a bank. She owns property in Augusta, Richmond County. She was the motor vehicles director for the city. She was the central services director for the city of Augusta. After Fred Russell broke up the public works department, she became central services director. She received the most votes to become the interim administrator unanimously back when Odie Donald left Augusta, Richmond County. She did not get accepted in the top 3 simply because the mayor and others wanted Fred Russell, the former city administrator, to be the city administrator. The commission had to do all kinds of things to try to stop that from happening. And so I don't believe that the city is being held hostage because we don't have a city administrator. We have a city administrator. However, the top 3 were Robert Civic, Richard Chess, and Tamika Allen. Robert Civic in his interview told us that we should hire Takia Dowse. When his name got leaked out into the media, he dropped out of the race. The mayor still wouldn't put another person up in the running. For whatever reason, I'm not here to speak on behalf of the mayor because I know that you support the mayor, and I'm not going to get into a debate there. But the facts is this. The commission makes the hires. The fact of the matter is the process was skewed throughout the way. And to not even follow the recommendation of a firm that we paid $38,000 to help us find a candidate, to not follow that recommendation, that's number 1, a waste of taxpayer dollars, and number 2, it's just flat out wrong to the person who applied for the job and got the most votes. If you were in that position and you were applying for a job and you got the most votes and the board still didn't hire you for whatever reason, I know you very well. You would sue that folk. You would sue them people because it's not right and it's not fair. And the only thing that we've been asking for since I've been on the commission, even before then, is simply fairness and equity, especially when our people is at the table trying to get these jobs. And it's not black or white, but let's just face the fact. The person with the most experience was recommended by this firm that we paid $38,000 to, and she still, to this day, has not gotten 6 votes because that's not who they want in that role.
Okay, we got to respond.
Well, this is going to both commissioners, and I feel like this right here. I heard what you exactly said. You got 10 commissioners, you don't have one. And I got great respect for you, Mr. Jordan, okay? But I don't hear nobody else preaching what you say but you. You're the only one. And so therefore, by you speaking this is still holding the city hostage. I think that if we know that the mayor is not going to put her name on the agenda to be vote up or vote down, then we should move forward. Now, if you refuse to move forward, that means you're going to hold the city hostage because you want her name personally on the list. I don't hear any other commissioners saying that they want her name on the list. I hear you saying that. I don't hear any other commissioners
Bishop,
saying
you
that
must
her
not weren't paying attention during that process,
I
sir.
listen to you, and please, sir, listen to me.
6 of us did a press conference, sir.
I listen to you, sir. I listen to you. Please, please. I didn't disturb you.
Yes, sir.
You know, I just want you to hear me out. I don't hear none other in none of these forums around here in the city, and I've been to several of them, preaching about putting her back on the agenda. I don't see nobody going to the mayor's office, not unless it's you by yourself doing that. We know one thing. We are voters, we are citizens, and we're sick and tired of this. Now, we want somebody in that administrative office. The mayor is not going to put her back on the agenda. So we're begging you, pleading you guys to go ahead and vote the next 3 candidates that are qualified. And we're not paying our administrator what other cities are paying them. You realize that. So we're going to get what we can in Augusta. So whatever we could get for the money that we are offering, we need to move forward. Because as that man called in a while ago about the grass program, there's no way in the world we should have 2 people out here with the contract trying to cut all of Augusta, Richmond County. And you see we got growth in everywhere. Our city looked bad. I remember John himself going down there and trying to tell you guys just to even clean this area up. In this last 3 or 4 years, it has not been done. So therefore, we need a city administrator that's going to move this city forward. If the mayor is not going to put her name on the list, are you guys willing to move forward? Matt, if you get elected, are you willing to move forward and go with the mayor to try to get a city administrator? That's what we want to know right now. We need one. We don't need to be hostile.
Well, once the recommendations come back before the commission and they've all been voted on, it's the commission's candidate. It's not the mayor's candidate. And you said I'm the only one saying these things. Well, that's not exactly true either, because 5 of us have stood strong on this simply because we believe that the process has not been fair to the person who got the most votes. You mentioned the grass is not being cut and it's the administrator's fault. That is my point. That is my point. When one city administrator broke up the public works department, those contracts went everywhere. That's something that Matt and I agreed on, that somebody needs to be accountable for that. Who you put in that seat matters. That person should not be a political puppet or a political tool. That person should know the city and know what they're doing. And Takia Dowse knows what she's doing. And again, it's not just Jordan Johnson speaking, Bishop. It's 5 commissioners who have stood elbow to elbow during this whole process, screaming out, saying that it has been unfair.
So you still don't have 6 votes?
No, you don't.
All right. Then we need to move
But we will move on, Bishop.
We need to move on.
Matt, do you have anything, Matt? 'Cause I have another question on the floor.
I think if you look at administrator, I'd like to see the resumes, because I think all that we got going on, all the potential we got right now is really critical for someone with a building background. And what we got is on the economic side of that, because we got all these road stuff going on right now, and it seems like ain't no one driving the bus there. We got the grass, that ain't no one driving the bus to have a good maintenance plan in place on how to do that. That's not real rocket science stuff. So I think, how do we start coordinating this stuff where, traffic's not all. I got a road project right beside my house that's been going on since last summer. And it's really unacceptable for that, and there's no progress in it. We do a block at a time? I don't know, but I think we got to have administrator, engineering, or somebody start coordinating how we do our construction. Because as we tear up Broad Street in the future with the TIA-SPLA, all these other projects, we got to do a little bit better job of being effective and efficient in what we're doing with these types of projects. So I think the administrator is key. If I'm elected, and if they haven't done it, then I'm going to look at those resumes and I'm going to give my input in it, because I think with my real estate background and construction background, Those are really key for this development of this city. If we don't have that, we're going to start missing the mark, and it's going to kind of be disarray like it is right now.
Yes, thank you. I know our time is running low and running out. I have one more question on the floor for both of them.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Scott. How you doing, Mr. Johnson?
Good evening, Dan.
My buddy. How you doing, Mr. Aitken?
Yes, sir. Good.
I have a question. You guys are familiar with what a service request is, right? When citizens put in service requests. This is the closest thing that we have to our voice other than voting. When a citizen puts in a service request, they call 311 or Central Services, and they report the house blighted, torn down, or they report something that needs to be cut, these pathways and things, right?
Or fixed, that's right.
Okay, so when they put the service request in, it goes to particular departments. Am I correct? Like Environmental Services, Central Services. I brought forward to several individuals on the commission and the administrator, as well as Carla Delaney, that we discovered that service requests were being closed. I ain't gonna say intentionally, but if you have service requests that are in particular areas of your community, right, and you go back and check up on them, you go back and look, and you see a year later, service request is closed without violations. You have people in these departments for years. Dr. Malik, Becky Paget, individuals who are in these offices that when it was brought to their attention last year by the administrator and Carla Delaney asked these individuals to show up to a meeting with myself and Terrence Widener in regards to who exactly in these offices are pushing that button and closing these service requests without violations. We were moving in a direction to find out what was going on and why these areas were targeted with these requests. I brought that before you. I brought that before Ms. Francine Scott when you came into the church over here in Albion Acres, because we are now District 1. We never were District 1. We are now District 2. That's another subject. But why hasn't anyone addressed that? Why aren't you? The real reason why the city looks this way, you guys aren't holding your own individuals accountable. If a service request gets closed in a property, doesn't get handled, what happens is what? A notice does not go to who? The same people that you're blaming for not keeping their properties cleaned up. How can they do that if they're not getting a notice? So this is over a 3-year period, 4-year period. I have documentation. I brought that forward, and just about everybody turned a blind eye, except for Carla Delaney and the administrator. Was it Mr. T at the time? Yeah. She was the one who actually pushed forward to have that investigated. It's still up in the air as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's still up in the air as far as I'm concerned. So what I want to know is, what would you do, Mr. Aitken, because Mr. Jordan knows about this. What would you do if you found out that service requests in particular communities were closed, and you go back to the house or the dilapidated house a year later, and you see that same house falling down, even in worse condition, and you go back and you look at those service requests and you say, oh, look, these were closed without violations. You know what happens when it comes to the OCGA law? That property does not get a notice that they need to do something there. So what's been happening, a lot of properties in these underserved areas have been targeted intentionally. They have not been getting notices. Not been getting notices because one thing, it was not a cyber attack that closed those service requests. And the cyber attack came afterwards. So if the information isn't there, it don't matter. We still got it in the email. I still got it on the paperwork. And I would like to know if you would have enough guts to step up and find out what's going on and why people are targeting these communities and closing these service requests. Because
I think, too, if you look at accountability, and I think I'm glad that the audit's being done on Parks and Recreation because I think it's past due for that. But I think furthermore, that gives those other departments that are not doing their jobs, they know these elections coming up, if certain people get in there, that bar is going to be raised even higher. So I think the accountability aspect of that, the people got to be accountable. And if you look at some of these other cities around us, they don't play that stuff. You do your job. And I think somewhere that's going to come down the pike. And if we want to be the city that we're capable of being, we're going to have to raise that bar. I met with a pastor recently, and I said, if I'm elected, there's going to have to be some changes in some of these departments. And that's not going to be an easy task, but it's got to happen if we want to be the city that we're all talking about today. And I think it's past time. I think we got to bridge some of the divide in that and how we coordinate things. And I think now the citizens, I think, right on board with that in ways that we're going to see that. So I think having that accountability is a must. It's just like the economic side that I talk about. It's a must. I think the accountability aspect of what we got in the directors, and for that administrator to hold them accountable to it, and if he's not, then we need to know why he's not or who she's not.
So, and yes, this question is
Same question.
up
Okay.
for you, Mr.
Sure.
Mr. Johnson, because you stated, I came on your page line. You know, goodness well, me and you good, man.
Yes, sir.
But you stated that, and I would like to know if you publicly stated that I came on your page lying, right? And you publicly stated that, and you found out I wasn't lying, would you be willing to give me a public apology?
Well, I will say this. The things that you were saying weren't true. But in this regard, what you're saying is true. The fact of the matter is, I just said it a few segments prior, that our communities are on what they refer to as a reactive schedule, which means when you make the phone call, they show up, or they're supposed to show up. In other communities, they're not on a reactive schedule. If you watched the commission meeting yesterday, you will see how myself, Francine Scott, Sean Franham, Stacy Pulliam, we took the engineering department to task because of the same issue. When you say that somebody has to have the guts to do it, we took all these departments, code enforcement, the marshal's office, engineering, the sheriff's office, the folks who are responsible for getting this work done, on a bus tour through Glendale, through Harrisburg, through Turpin Hill, all over the African-American community, and we asked them about this accountability piece. And as a matter of fact, yesterday at our meeting, we passed a workshop. We're going to put everybody at the same table, and we're going to make them figure this thing out. I made the motion. The motion was to get code enforcement, the sheriff's office, the marshal's office, engineering, procurement, everybody at the table to figure out why Turpin Hill has to wait a year to get a lot cut versus someone else on the other side of town not having to call at all. So we're saying the same thing, Dan, and I think the issue here is that people are frustrated that they're not seeing results, and so am I. But let me go back a little bit. I mentioned that in 2011, the Public Works Department was broken up. It was broken up. It was broken to pieces. And now the city administrator, which we say is not qualified, passed she presented to us a right-sizing plan that will put all of those things back together, and the commission would not approve it. So what we're saying is the same thing. It's a shame that Glendale is still having to deal with the same ditches that haven't been cut in years. It's a shame that when I go down to Laney Walker and I pass by the same blighted house that's been burnt on Datnat Street for 3 years, still up. I'm happy to say the work that I've done is going to have that house torn down tomorrow. So the fact of the matter is, you have a commissioner, Dan, as we speak, that's fighting every single day to thumb through the minutia, to thumb through the fine details, to figure out how to help our communities, not just real estate and big business. I'm dealing with folks in this district who are living in poverty, who are living in hotels, who are living next to drug houses, and it is not an easy task. But to say that it's not happening or it's not working or it's not like in motion is where the fiction comes in. And I will apologize for the heavy talk, but I take it personal when I know for a fact that we are putting boots up tails on stuff like this every single day, and we shouldn't have to.
You came in cleaning up.
Cleaning up.
Mess.
Decades.
With the black thing, yes. I know you guys started that, and when you started that, the message was already there, you know.
Decades worth of work we're still trying to clean up. But, I appreciate you, and I love you, my brother.
This is going to be,
Thank you.
This is going to conclude our segment here.
We'll let John finish up. Thank everyone for their questions.
We got a little round the block today, didn't we? I love it. Let's keep going.
Yeah, but listen now. We got we're gonna get just a few more minutes because I want to make sure the ones that still watching get the chance to make it. Just the ones that haven't had a chance to vote yet, they get to decide and vote on what you all say in the last few minutes of the show. So what I want to bring to attention, and we're gonna get out here in a minute, the fact that what you said, Matt, some of the people that's in positions not doing what they're supposed to be doing, not putting making the job serious enough, and you also said the same thing, Jordan. So some of those persons not getting the job done. So a person like me that's sitting on the outside, you know what I say? And sometimes we got about 12 people that's in the audience, and they say the same thing. So the ones that's not getting the job done, what I think is happening is they're getting the white envelope. The white envelope means they're getting some under the table money.
Right.
Under the table money. So again, for the ones that's watching Barbershop Talk Live, this is probably what's helping you not get what you're getting done. So when you got those folks in the position to make some stuff happen for the city, because at one time when I came to Augusta, and y'all know where I'm from.
Where you from?
I'm from a big little town called Waycross, Georgia.
It's Waycross, Georgia.
Waycross, Georgia. So my big little town, when I came up here, I saw some things happening. But over time, over the years that I've been here, I got a family, 3 kids and all that. I saw some stuff happening. I saw white envelopes being slided across the table. So as I leave the commission chamber, as I leave the courthouse to go pay a bill, go pay property tax, you know what I see? Let me tell you what I see when I leave the courthouse. I see this all on the ground. I see white envelopes on the ground. So that means somebody got paid and just threw the envelope to the side. So when you look at the point where nothing is getting done in this city, maybe they got a white envelope.
Amen.
Maybe they got a white envelope to the point where a hell with South Augusta.
Right.
The hell with West Augusta.
Yeah.
The hell with it. Yeah. I'm good. I got my white envelope.
Right.
So what I want to know before we get off this air, did you get a white envelope when you was in office?
No.
Do you have a white envelope now?
No, I don't.
Do you intend to continue to get these white envelopes?
No, sir. I
Or
don't.
would you take a white envelope if you get elected?
That's what I'm elected to do is lead.
Okay. So now sometimes we lead with a white envelope.
I don't go that route.
You don't go that route.
I've had to rebuild my life, and none of that's worth chancing anything of gray areas for me. And I will continue to do what I've been. You know, I had to rebuild my life from days of out there in the streets, and I'd rather walk away from a deal than get in a gray area, because my integrity means that much to me, and my reputation means that much to me. And I think I've been able to prove that in this city for all the things that I've done. People still take jabs at me. But you know what? I'm a better man, and I take the high road in what I need to do for me personally and in the roles that I serve, whatever they may be, whether it's my elder at the church or being a dad or being a husband or being a friend. I think those things mean more to me than just trying to get out and get an envelope. That ain't me.
Okay, now again, we got to get out of here, but I want to make sure, Jordan, if you win this re-election, Matt, if you win the re-election, don't put this city on the back burner. Don't put this city to the point where, because again, I said earlier, we was the number 2 city in the state of Georgia. We have lost that position. Don't put this city behind. Put this city where it should be, right in front of Atlanta or right beside Atlanta, because again, we got people that's working hard.
Right.
We got people that's making sure these kids learn in school. We got people that's making sure they go to work, get an honest living, and we got to depend on the city leaders to continue that fight to put this city in the right direction, and y'all not doing it. Again, this is not me. This is the Barbershop Talk Live world. They want to see these actions. Yeah. Because even though we are in Augusta, most of these people that watch it, they are from St. Louis. Most of the people that watch it, they from St. Louis. You know what I mean when they say St. Louis? That's the show me state. Yeah. So let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. So don't give us no more talk. We want action. Again, you came by sitting in the chair.
That's right.
You came by coming to Barbershop Talk Live, and when people tune in, don't give us that. Don't give us that. Don't give us that. And as you know, we don't want to see you during election time. We don't come to my church when it's time to get a vote. Don't come to get no coffee there. We need to see you all the time throughout this city. And Jordan, you have been very visible. Thank God for your visibility. So again, what we're trying to do, we're trying to make sure you talk the talk and walk the walk. Talk the talk and walk the walk.
Day in the community, that's what we used to do every year when we did down in East Augusta.
Okay.
And I was able to recruit a lot of businesses to help. We did education it was on East Boundary, on Telfair Street at Reverend Combs Church. We'd block the street off, and we would do day in the community. And those things equipped the residents there. We did screenings. We had food. I had other commissioners there cooking on the grill. So that's the kind of relationships that I have is bringing skill sets to the table for the needs. whether it's the community through prison ministry that I do or did, and or for the other side of it when it comes to the economic side of it. So you got to have a balance of what we need to do. We got to care for our community, but we also got to see our community prosper. In some ways, it's not prospering to the tune of what it could be with all the things that are going on right here. And we could just it would be a takeoff with the opportunities we got right now.
Simple question. Jordan, if it's your you win the re-election, Matt, would you support Jordan?
Yeah.
Vice versa, would you support him?
We've known each other for years.
Matt was one of the first commissioners I've ever met. I met him down at Citispell Coffee Shop down on Broad Street, and I came all dressed up, and he was on a bicycle. So I don't have a problem with Matt. Don't have a problem with Matt Aitken. Never had a problem with Matt Aitken. But my service as a county commissioner has been about being on the street, going door to door, talking to Miss Mabel, talking to Miss Safford in Sand Hills, going over to Harrisburg and talking to Miss Johnson about the flooding in her yard, going over to East Augusta and sitting with Cheryl Smith talking about the flooding in her backyard. I've been at these doors. I've been sitting on porches. We go to East Augusta. We had our block parties. The work is getting done. If the work wasn't getting done, I wouldn't be able to say we've got 400 plus blighted properties demolished in the last 4 years, 400 plus affordable new housing units going up. I would not be able to say that we gave almost $2 million to small businesses. Would not be able to say that we closed almost 4,000 code cases. We filled almost 3,000 potholes in this district. The work is getting done. I'm playing catch up here. But as your District 1 commissioner, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop working for this district. I'm not going to stop trying to solve the 24% poverty rate. I'm not going to stop trying to solve the homeless issue. I'm not going to stop trying to get these blighted buildings in downtown Field, because that's what I was elected to do. And that's what you can always assure that you're going to get out of me.
Matt, what's the first thing you do you get in office?
First thing I do to get in office?
What is your goal for the city?
One, I want to start figuring out what we got to do on the economic side of the convention center, and then I think there needs to be some kind of collaboration of how we start planning for the development of our city. We got to look at affordable housing. We got to look at the grocery store, food desert that's going on right now, and we got to bring the people and the professionals to the table to see how we can do both of those simultaneously as we move forward. Because District 1 is like I said before, it's the hub. It can be a lot of the energy, and you have all the demographics in there to make it happen. So those are several things that would need to be done.
Okay.
Can I add something?
Okay,
He mentioned grocery stores, and I would be remiss if I didn't say this in my last moment here, is that in 2023, December 2023, we passed an MOU with a grocer. A grocery store is opening in District 1 on Laney Walker Boulevard. We're starting construction at the end of this year. So you have a commissioner that's working, you have a commissioner that's understanding the needs, and you have a commissioner that's delivering.
Can we replace Shop and Stop with one?
I would love to replace Shop and Stop with a grocery store.
Where do y'all stand on the bridge? Open or close? Olive Road.
Open.
Open the Olive Road Bridge.
Yeah, I mean, it's been there forever. So I think there should be some kind of engineering that we could have already figured out how to get up under there for what we need right now. Yeah.
CSOA Barbershop Talk Live World, again, thank you for tuning in to Barbershop Talk Live. I had a great conversation, listening to the candidates, voice their opinions, voice their concerns. So if you made a conscious decision, I hope you did, to decide which way you want to go with this vote. We got May the 21st, this coming Tuesday is the election day. Again, exercise your right to vote. Gentlemen, we got any parting words just to make sure, now remember, we're not in church, to give us give us a quick, anything you want to tell the people before May the 21st.
I'm just glad we had the conversation today, and I think we need more conversations in our community. We need a collaborative spirit that we don't have right now to really start figuring out the issues of our community and the prosperity for all the people in this city. So I think that that's kind of what I want to say is in closing. And I'm thankful for where I'm at in life and the opportunities that are ahead of me, and I hope that I can be a part of where we're going as a city to be a part of that leadership.
Okay, Jordan, anything?
I have been honored to serve as District 1 Commissioner since 2021. I ran at 25, was elected at 26. I'm honored to be endorsed by some of the most respected leaders in this community. We've gotten so much done. I believe in the process and the progress that we're making in Augusta. And I will argue the facts about how Augusta is progressing with anybody at any time, because Augusta is on the move. We're in the hottest season we've ever been in, and it's just only going to go up from here. And so we need to continue the progress that we're making.
Okay. Again, CSOA Barbershop Talk Live World, May the 21st is the election day. Go to your local polls. I think Friday is the last day for early voting. This coming Friday tomorrow. So again, Tuesday, May the 21st. Exercise your right to vote. Vote, vote, vote. I hate to throw it, but don't forget about these the recreation parks. Don't forget about the recreation parks where the little kid had electrocuted that time. I don't know if they got those situations together. Diamond Lakes, the bathroom situation, all that. So all that's fixed. All that's fixed. So again,
Finally.
all that's finally okay. Barbershop Talk Live World. We got to get out of here. See us over at Barbershop Talk Live World. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in again. Exercise your right to vote. You got any more comments or concerns? Put it on the screen. We'll go back and look at the comments, and we'll make sure we get those questions to these candidates again. Good luck to both of you all. Good luck to both of y'all. And again, if you don't win, support each other. Support each other, not for each other, but for the city. For the city, for the betterment of the city. Mr. Aitken.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for coming by. Jordan. Thank you for coming, Barbershop Talk Live. Bishop Green, Miss Jenkins, campaign manager, thank you for coming in. Thank you for tuning in to Barbershop Talk Live again. Next week, you want to be a guest on Barbershop Talk Live, come on, sit up, inboxes. We got to get out of here. Y'all ready? Tell them we got to go. Y'all ready? See you later.